Hi, my name is Dr. Krista Marichek, and I'm a postdoctoral fellow at PACE's Counseling and Personal Development Center in Pleasantville, New York. Today I'll be talking with you about the benefits of sleep, the tools and tips you can utilize to get more restful sleep, and the resources that you can access if you're having sleep difficulties. Sleep is important for overall health and well-being, including physical and emotional. When we don't sleep, we're at an increased risk for contracting different illnesses and for losing focus, which might mean getting in a car accident. You might also notice that during final season, you start to develop flu-like symptoms or cold. That's not necessarily a coincidence. The negative effects of sleep also affect our stress levels and our immune response. Also, getting restful sleep feels really great. So, how do we get restful sleep? Well, it's recommended to be consistent. So, in order to improve your circadian rhythms, you really want to fall asleep and wake at the same time, even on the weekends. You want to aim for 6 to 8 hours to get optimal sleep. And also think about establishing a bedtime routine. So, what works for you in making you feel more rested before bed? Is it taking a bath, drinking a cup of tea? You might want to get creative about how you can wind down before falling asleep. Also, implement the 2 to 3 hour rule. So what that means is avoid consuming caffeine 2 to 3 hours before bed. You also want to monitor and limit your alcohol use because alcohol does disrupt sleep. Eating is really important, but you don't want to have a heavy meal right before you fall asleep. So you might want to have a snack instead if you're hungry. And although exercise is really healthy for physical and emotional well-being, not right before bed. So think about exercising 2 to 3 hours before winding down for sleep. So what can you do if you're having difficulty sleeping? You want to turn the clock around. Try not to focus on what time it is and when you have to wake up in the morning. Also, keep your room or wherever it is that you sleep very comfortable. So for some, that's a quiet, dark, cool room, but think about your preferences and your sleep needs and try to implement that. Also, you don't want to lay in bed if you're not sleeping. You really want to try to fall asleep when you feel physically fatigued. And only use the bed for sleep. Instead of doing work or doing leisure activities in bed, you want your brain and your body to be conditioned to associate bed with sleep. Napping is really great if it's kept at a 15 to 30-minute interval. So more than that, it will disrupt your sleep functioning later in the evening. Also, your screen time. Be mindful that any stimulation you have is going to decrease your ability to fall asleep. So if you're being stimulated by lights, by sounds, by anything that you can take in through your senses, you might have a harder time falling asleep. And lastly, before going to sleep, you might want to create a window period. So as your night starts to wind down, if you start planning for the next day, or if you start reflecting on the day that you had, you might want to do that not in your bed, or maybe not even in your bedroom, but doing that somewhere that's kind of separated from your bed, which at this point should be associated with sleep only. And if it doesn't work, get out of bed. If you're having a difficult time falling asleep, or if you keep waking up throughout the middle of the night, it's recommended that you stand up and do some light activity. That might mean walking around your space. It might be reading a magazine, but doing something not too strenuous, but also not staying in bed. And contact PACE's Counseling and Personal Development Center. We're here to help. Our contact information is here and can also be found on our website. Additionally, you can access these resources to learn more about the unique tools and tips that you can access that will improve your sleep quality. Thank you for sharing this time with me, and I wish you all a restful night's sleep.